Hi class, today we're going to be reading a new book called Henry's Map. But before we start reading this book, there are a few things that we have to go over first, like our vocabulary. So, these are words that we're going to see in our book while reading. The first word is map. Say it with me. Map. A map is a representation of an area of land or sea that shows physical features. Here's an example of a map. Here's our school. This is a map of our neighborhood. Here's our school. And look, here's the track behind our school. There's the park across the street. And the map shows all the trees, the roads, and the lake. The map could help us find where our school is if we were lost, or find where the park is. Here's our map. The second word is organize. Say it with me. Organize. To organize is to put things in order. So let's try that together. Look at these letters from the alphabet. Tell me, A, D, C, B. Is that right? No, right? Let's put them in order. Let's organize the letters. So, tell me, Bear, what comes first? A, very good. How about you, Lotso? What comes next? B. What comes after B? What was that? C. Good job. And last but not least, D. Very good, you guys. We organized our letters. A, B, C, D. All right. The last word is uproar. An uproar is a loud and strong noise or disturbance. So, do you notice how quiet our classroom is? Yeah, well, if we all start yelling really loud about how excited we are to read the book, we'll be causing an uproar. Let's try it. Let's break the silence. We're so excited about reading our book. Are we excited? Yeah! Say it with me. Yeah! We're causing an uproar. All right. So, here's Henry's map. What do we see? I see a pig, and he lives on a farm. That's what the book is about. Henry's a pig who lives on a farm. Have you ever been to a farm? What was that, Bear? Yeah. Okay. What are some of the animals you saw at the farm? You saw chickens. How about you, Lotso? You saw a cow. Okay. Very good. Those are definitely some animals you see at the farm. So, we notice. There's the pig, like you said, in a farm. So, I'm going to show you guys 6 questions that you can ask yourself to help you better understand the story. These 6 questions are what, who, when, where, why, and how. So, these are questions you can keep in your head and ask yourself when you're reading a story to help you better understand it. So the first one, what? What was the problem? What was the problem in the story? Who? Who was there? Who was in the story? When? When did it happen? When did the problem happen? Where? Where did it happen? Why? Why did it happen? And how? How was the problem solved? So, while we're reading these books, keep them in mind so that you can better understand what's happening. What do you notice? The pig. I notice there's a pig and he's holding a map. I wonder why he's holding a map. Let's read to find out. Henry's Map by David Eliot. for my sister Karen, who loves maps. Henry was a very organized sort of pig. He liked knowing exactly where everything was in his tidy little sty. He straightened his mirror and smiled. "A place for everything, and everything in its place," he said. Henry looked out his window and frowned. Tisk, tisk. What a mess the farm was. How could anybody ever find anything out there? Then he had an idea. What could Henry do so that he'll be able to find things on the farm? What do you think, Mr. Bear? You think he could make a map? That's a great idea. Let's see. "I shall make a map," he said, "so that everyone will know what belongs where." He went to his cupboard for his pencil and some paper and trotted to his table. The first thing he drew was his sty, and he drew a picture of himself next to it. There's his sty. There's Henry. He rolled up his map and marched outside. At the wool shed, he came across Maisie, Daisy, and Clementine. "Bah! What are you doing, Henry?" they asked. "I'm making a map of the farm," said Henry. "Oh, how exciting!" cried the sheep. "Are we in it?" "You're right here," said Henry, and he drew a square for the wool shed with 3 sheep beside it. There's the wool shed. There's the 3 sheep. The sheep clapped their hooves together. Henry walked across the meadow and came upon Abigail, sitting in the shade of a large oak tree. "Hello, Henry." "What are you doing?" asked Abigail. But before he could answer, the sheep cried, "Bah! He's making a map of the farm, and we're in it." "Really, Abigail?" said Abigail. "Can I be in it too?" "Certainly," said Henry, and he drew a scribbly circle for the oak tree and a picture of a cow. There's the tree, and there's Abigail the cow. Wow. Look, this sheep is dancing now and swinging on a tree. I wonder why they're so happy. Henry continued on his way until he saw Mr. Brown grazing by his stable. "Hello, Henry. What are you doing?" neighed Mr. Brown. Maisie, Daisy, Clementine, and Abigail quickly shouted, "He's making a map and we're all in it!" "Remarkable," snorted Mr. Brown. "Is there room for a horse?" "Of course," said Henry. He took out his pencil and drew a square for the stable and a picture of a horse. By the time Henry arrived at the chicken coop, all the animals were in an uproar. "A map! Henry's making a map and we're all in it!" they exclaimed. He drew a square for the coop and 3 chickens. "Now," he said proudly, "we'll all know where everything is." How do you think the animals feel about the map? You think they're excited? I think so too. "Follow me," said Henry, leading the animals up the hill. "I'll show you my map." Here's his map. There's his sty. There's Henry next to it. There's the wool shed, 3 sheep. There's the tree and Abigail the cow. The stable, Mr. Brown the horse, and the chicken coop and the 3 chickens. All the animals looked at the farm, and then they looked at the map, and then they looked at the farm again. But we're not there," bleated the sheep. "We're gone," whinnied Mr. Brown. "Oh no," mooed Abigail. "Where did we go?" squawked the chickens. Henry looked out at the empty farm. There was no sign of the animals from his map. Where are the animals? How will they get back to their homes? If they're on the top of the hill, how will they get back? You think they're going to use the map? Let's see. Down the hill they dashed, Henry leading the way, clutching his map. Oh no. They all look so worried. He rushed to the chicken coop, staring at his map. There should be hens right here, he said. Here we are, puffed the chickens, running up behind him. Thank goodness, said Henry. He ran onto the stable. Mr. Brown, he called. I'm right here, snorted Mr. Brown. What a relief, gasped Henry. Wonder if they're all going to make it back to where they belong. Abigail, he yelled as he reached the oak tree. Coming, mooed Abigail, running to her tree. Thank heavens, said Henry. But what about those sheep? Here we are, cried the sheep, dancing on the woolshed steps. Your map was right after all, Henry. But Henry needed to be sure. He hurried back to his sty and threw open the door. There was no one inside. Oh, I think he's panicking. He looks so worried. He tiptoed over to his mirror. Slowly, he looked into it. There you are, Henry, he smiled. Just where you ought to be. A place for everything, and everything in its place. The end. So, guys, tell me, why do you think it's important to be organized? What was that? Mr. Bear says that because it's important because you'll know where everything is. Very good, like in the story. Why else? What was that, Lotso? Because if not, your room might be a mess? Okay, that's a good point. Why do you think the animals why do you think the animals were so excited about the map? Okay. Because it told them where they were, where everything was. Okay. Because they were on it. Okay, that's a good point too. So, how are maps helpful? Okay, Lotso says that maps show you where things are. They help you find things. Very good. Alright, so, do you remember those questions I told you to ask yourself while reading the story? Yeah, okay. So, now we're going to fill out a chart with those questions. So, here's our chart. Remember, the questions were who, what, who, when, where, why, and how. 6 questions. So here's the first questions. What I want you to do is read the questions and then think to yourself what the answer is. Think back to the story. The first question, what was the problem? What was the problem in the story? Well, I remember Henry was cleaning, and then he looked at the farm and, oh, I remember. The problem was that. And you put your answer. So, let's go through the questions together. The first one we did, what was the problem of the story? You guys can give me some answers as well. What do you think the problem was? That the farm was a mess? That's a very good answer. Second question. Who was there? So you guys, think about who was in the story. Remember? If you don't remember the names, that's okay. There was a lot of animals. You can tell me maybe which animals were there. When did it happen? When did they realize the problem? When did Henry think, hey, this isn't right? Where did it happen? Where was everything taking place? Where were they? Were they at a zoo? No. They were on a, think to yourself, a farm. Very good. Why did it happen? Why? Why was? Why did they make the map? Well, why? Why was that? Why was it a problem that it was a mess? How? How was the problem solved? What did they do to solve the problem? Alrighty, so now you guys can go back to your seats and work on your own charts, okay?